what was hard? What was hard in getting to this place for you? Because it's, there's so many people that are interested, so many OTs who are really interested in working with nature, and what you've done is quite, different, and it's not always easy. So let's be real about this. Like, what was hard about it?
Yeah, I think it's hard. The hardest thing for me, and I'm still finding my feet, is really working out where. I think one of the processes that helped me, where I found it was hard, because I knew that this could work. I knew that I could work in this space. But what I used and what you helped me with was the Ikigai kind of process. Yeah. So working out, I knew that I had something to give. I didn't quite know how I could give it and make it, ultimately providing an income.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And something that other in industries would be interested and that they needed. So I think that whole process really helped me to kind of nut that out. That was really cool. Also finding it hard to articulate what was in my head, and through your course and talking to other people and practicing explaining what you're doing, I think was really, really helpful, because it just consolidates what you're thinking, and it is a little bit of pressure, but the pressure of saying it out loud is actually really good. Yeah, so I think in terms of what was hard, it was really just, it's that process of thinking, I really want to do this. How can I turn it into something? And I think for me, I wouldn't have got as far as I am now without your assistance,
What has been hard about this process? Like, in all transparency, like what's hard about doing this as an OT, creating a new way of working in nature?
I would tend to say everything, but it being hard doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just that it's all such a learning curve, and I have really enjoyed going through the whole process and evolving. I think what's really been hard is time, because once you sort of get into that idea of what you want to do, you just want it to happen now, and still everything takes so much longer as what you want it to take. I think the other thing that I found really hard is probably some areas that I'm not very good at as an OT, which when I think about like marketing and like using a different language to market your products or what you're offering, and then as well getting out there and kind of selling ourselves. I was so excited when I came across Bronwyn, and just the thought of being able to incorporate nature into my OT work, I was like, oh my gosh, that was just amazing. I have to admit, like initially I really struggled to believe in, what I could offer as an OT in nature. But throughout the process and throughout working for the program, I got a lot more clarity, and I came to a point where it's like, well, I think I've got a service. I've got something that I can do with my skills. So what I've done is I've developed some programs that I'm targeting for busy mums to improve their health and well-being. And really what I want to do is I want to give them some tools and strategies that they can use to cope better with challenging situations. So it's not like a parenting program, but it's more like really focused on the health and well-being of the mums themselves, so they feel more, confident and confident that they can cope with whatever life throws at them. Which then has a follow-on effect, obviously, on the family and the kids.
Share with us just your immediate response to what's hard about this work. What's hard about doing this work as an OT with nature?
Imposter syndrome.
What do you do about that? What are your strategies for that? As a highly experienced, skilled
you
OT?
are my strategy for that. You and I'm going to mention them again, the Wayappa family, because they have a different they have a very natural understanding of all of this, and they've been hugely helpful, and hugely supportive. So it's that self-belief, and when I do my cower, my big rock at the bottom of the river is lack of self-belief, and it's been there for a long time,
and
I'm eroding it slowly,
it's eroding.
Slowly eroding, but you know, it's that, you know, who am I to talk about all this stuff? But actually, when you have all the research and the evidence base, and that post you shared this morning was fab. So, you know, you have that, you can go and say, but, you know, Kaplan and Kaplan are saying this, and there's research from here, and you can, you know, and you can put that into an argument and say, look, we know this intrinsically anyway. Instinctively, we know that we feel better when we're in nature, but now we've got the evidence base to back that up.
Is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you to you, because you've made it real for me. And you know, what was kind of a dream and maybe a possibility, it has become reality for me. Like some of those questions that I was just like, hey, I had this really silly question to ask, and I'd ask you guys, and you're like, no question silly, that totally makes sense. And I just, it felt like really supportive and understanding, and you have the evidence, and you have the you totally get it, and you got it, and you understand the journey of it. And so I'm really thankful to you, because it's just like, it's made a huge difference. And that's why I'm here where I am today, because I don't know if I'd probably still be like, this sounds like a great idea.
And thank you. And I want to say to you that by you sharing where you're at, especially early in the journey, you know, it's not like you've been doing it for 10 years or whatever, but by you sharing what you're doing, you make it real for so many other people, because then you become the example, and we're all the same. You know, when we see it, we believe it's possible. And